Welcome back, everyone, here to Brax Talks. Today, we got a very special video for you guys. We have an ALDS series preview with the Yankees and, of course, the Cleveland Guardians, who we will be playing. So, Christian, let's get right into the series preview, shall we?
Sure, I guess start with the probables. Now, at the time we're recording this, and probably by the time we're uploading this, the probables haven't been announced, although we can take a pretty good guess. Now, Boone originally said earlier in the year, Cole's our game one guy. He's the guy. He's the guy. Although, in an interview, I think it was on the Michael Kay show, then he was sort of hesitant and he wasn't fully answering the question. So basically, we don't know. I still think it's going to be Cole, although there's definitely an argument for Cortez and even Severino. Not as much, but it's still there. Although I think we're going to see Cole game one, Nestor game two, and Severino game three. And actually, with the way it's formatted this year for the ALDS, you don't need a fourth starter because you have an off day after game one, and then an off day after game two for the travel day, and then another off day after game four for the travel day. And that's not normal to have the off day between games one and two. So you don't really need a fourth starter, and I don't think the Yankees will do that. If they do, it'll probably be Jameson Taillon. However, for the Guardians, it's likely game one will be Cal Quantrill. Now, he was supposed to pitch game three of the wild card series, though the Guardians won the first two and didn't need to play that. So Bieber and McKenzie will definitely be out for game one. So that's why I'm thinking it's going to be Cal Quantrill game one on Tuesday. And then I think they'll be able to cycle back to their number one, then have Shane Bieber on Thursday. He'll be pitching on normal rest. And then Tristan McKenzie, you could have him pitch Saturday, again on normal rest. And those guys, we have faced them this year. Bieber, we faced him in the 2020 postseason, roughed him up after having a Cy Young season. This year, he actually pitched a pretty good game against us. Tristan McKenzie also shut us out, although it was kind of like a weird lineup, and it was kind of just a funky game, if you remember.
Yeah, Judge was not playing in that game, did not start that game.
Yeah, it was a weird game. And then Cal Quantrill we hit pretty well. So just going off the probables, how are you feeling about that, Ryan?
I mean, I've seen a lot of their pitchers for a few years now. I know Bieber's very good. McKenzie's very, very good. And they're very solid pitchers. No doubt about it. They've had some success against Cleveland, in prior years in the playoffs as well. Um, and I guess I know that there are very good pitchers on the other side, but I feel confident in my team, and I feel confident in the Yankees that they can get it done. But not to discredit anything they've done over there, because those are three good pitchers.
Of course, both McKenzie and Bieber ERAs under three this season. Very good. And crowd control, the low threes. So very, very good. And then game four and game five, I'm not going into the probables because we don't even know what they could do. When your team,
So stay tuned on our Instagram, because we'll have all
yeah,
the up to the minute stuff. So go drop a follow, Bronx Talks Official on Instagram, for all up to the latest, up to the minute news.
and
All
you'll
that
probably
stuff.
get our reactions and all that fun stuff. But as for the pitching, I think the Yankees match up pretty evenly. You look at the bullpen, Cleveland might have the upper hand. They at least have the upper hand on the closer. I think they have the best closer in baseball with Emmanuel Clase. The Yankees did get to him earlier this year, an IKF double and a Torres walk off. That was the game where the fans threw stuff on the field, the whole Miles Straw incident. Although overall pitching, I think the Yankees match up pretty evenly. Hitting, this is where the Yankees should dominate the Guardians. There's only really a few guys to look out for. One of them is Jose Ramirez. He's been in the league for a while. Pretty established, good player. He's having another monster season in an OPS nearly at 900, along with great defense and a 6.2 F4. The only other player on the Guardians with an F4 above 6, it's Andres Jimenez. Probably haven't heard of him. You probably have, but some of our viewers. He's 23 years old, made his first All-Star team this year, and he had a really good year. He's a lefty, so you kind of want to be careful with the short porch. Although the final thing that I wanted to add about the Cleveland offense, they don't really have one. 29th in homers this year, throughout all of baseball. Only the Tigers had less. They don't really hit. We saw in the wild card series, they don't really hit. And that's where the Yankees should really have the upper hand.
Yeah, but I do think they make a lot of contact.
They do. They
Um,
have some average guys. Yeah.
yeah, so they put the ball in play. So I mean, it won 92 games, 92 or 93,
92. Yeah.
92 games. You could say this and that about the division. The bottom line is they're a good team. How you like to look at their offense, how you want to view it. They're a good team. They put a good team. They do the little. They have a great man in Terry Francona, but the bottom line is you know we had a bye for a reason, so we should handle our business here. And the Guardians have a very good team, and they're probably going to play us tough, but we got to go out there, we got to show up. Also, to mention, Cleveland Guardians have the youngest team in baseball. The average age, I think, might be I think it's like 26. They have the youngest team in baseball. You don't usually see the youngest teams in baseball make the playoffs. It's only happened a handful of times because usually the younger teams are not that good. But the Guardians are good, and they have a very young team. The Yankees, on the other hand, I don't know exactly where they rank in terms of average
Pretty old.
age,
Pretty
but
old.
they have an older team, a lot of veteran guys. Although the Yanks have had so they do have some rookies on there who have performed. So it's not to say they're all veterans, but the Yanks have a lot of veterans, guys who've been in the playoff, guys who've won World Series. You look at their infield, you got Rizzo, Torres, IKF Donaldson, and the outfield, similar thing. I mean, Judge 31, got Stanton in there, a lot of veteran guys over there for the Yankees. So it should be definitely interesting.
Yeah, and that young team, I could see them just getting very rattled in the Bronx. You'll have that place going crazy, whether it's a pitcher or a hitter. I could see that getting like the crowd almost just giving the advantage to the Yankees. And that's kind of something that they've missed. That's why the 2020 playoffs didn't feel authentic. Fans are kind of a part of the game. But overall, I mean, my thoughts on this is I've seen on Twitter, on TikTok, Instagram, a lot of people taking the Guardians as a sneaky, pretty good team. Don't let this team get hot. I I mean, they're one of the worst teams in the playoffs. They're not a bad team, but they're one of the worst teams in the playoffs. They played in a horrible, horrible AL Central. And the Yankees are one of the best teams in the playoffs. So the Yankees should really go out there and handle business. And it's the playoffs. At the end of the day, it's going to be tough. You got to do whatever you can to win, and it might be close, but the Yankees are the much better team. They really should take this series.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say they're one of the worst teams.
No,
I mean,
who's
they're a good
worse?
team. I mean, they are where they are because of what they've done. They do a lot of good things. I mean,
I know. Yeah.
I mean, they're not they're not a bad team.
I didn't say
That's
they
the
were.
bottom line. They do a lot of things well. They do the little things. They have a great manager, in Terry Francona. So we'll kind of see. We'll see how they play us, and we'll see how we play them. Um, but you know, I think they're a solid team. I think they got solid pitching, solid bullpen. If they get hot, they could really be a problem, especially, guys like Ramirez, Jimenez, and I think they have a pretty good defense as well.
Their defense is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. So they do the little things well. So they could be sneaky, and I could see why people could take them. But like you said, the bottom line is the Yanks are in this position because of what they've done. You look at their payroll. I mean, I'm not putting any pressure, but you got to go out there. You got to handle business. I'm really hoping they can do that. I believe in them. I think they can. Overall, what's happened, this season between the two teams. The first series was April 22nd to April 24th, a series in which the Yankees swept in 3 games. And there was some stuff with the fans and Miles Straw, and there was a whole big thing about it. And then Miles Straw came out and said, the Yankees have the worst fan base on the planet, which, pretty. I had a whole thing on my stance on it on Instagram. You have to stroll all the way back, I guess. But I thought it was really irresponsible for him to say that when he climbed up the wall. I mean,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, like I just don't. I don't know what you expect people to do if you're getting in their face yelling at them. Not to mention, I'm not trying to throw any shade on Cleveland, or anything like that. But the Cleveland Browns game got suspended because fans were throwing beer bottles at the ref. I mean, so I don't know. Cleveland rocks. So yeah, and then the second series they played, it was July 2nd and July 3rd, double header on July 2nd. Yanks swept the doubleheader, but then lost the last game of the series on July 3rd. They overall won the series 2-1. The final game of the series, Tristan McKenzie absolutely dominated. I think the Yanks might have had only 1 hit. He was very, very good. But Aaron Judge was not playing. Boone rolled out a funky lineup. So, but that's not just credit. I mean, what McKenzie did, because it was spectacular. But, let's see what happens here. And I'm confident in the Yankees, and, I'm going to be cheering them on. I'll be at game 1. So, we'll see what happens here. And, just best of luck here, both teams. And, I'm really hoping the Yanks can pull this out in advance. And I'm very confident in them. So, I mean, that's kind of is what it is. I mean, the Guardians do a lot of good things. The Yankees do a lot of good things. So 2 good teams, and, they're going to go at it here.